Hello and welcome back to HGC Europe. My name is Trixler and I'm joined by my partner today, Caleris. You ready for match series number 2?
Rootin' tootin', yeah. That's I don't know why I did that. Some reason.
Well, we're here in sunny California getting set up for our next matchup of the day. beGenius taking on the new Playful Ducks. For those at home, Playful Ducks are actually the Diamond skin. They just got a new sponsor, so congratulations to them. But today they'll be fighting under the new banner.
Yeah, they will be. I'm going to have a hard time not saying Mighty Ducks, but playing Ducks can work. I'll be okay with that one. It'll be fun.
Playing Ducks, man. And I think it's almost important that they come out with the V formation no matter what.
Oh, no.
That would make them authentic. We need to see that from them. We just finished up a wonderful series between Synergy and Dignitas. It was a 3-0 in favor of Dignitas, but Synergy has been doing a wonderful job, and I'm expecting that team to do more and more. Let's go ahead and check out the standings and see where our teams are currently landing after our games continue to finish off at the very top. Still Team Expert and Misfits. It's good to see Dignitas there with a victory underneath their belt there. 1-1. Synergy falls to 1-1 as well. And here at the very bottom, two of our teams that will be facing off, they both have not scored a win yet. So one team will walk away with a 1-1. One will be a 0-2. So beGenius and Playing Ducks.
Yeah, the standings seem to kind of be shaping up in the direction that we're expecting HGC Europe to go at the moment. As you can see, the top 4 at the moment with Team Expert number 1, but you know, things will jostle for position in a little bit, and obviously the Mighty 3 up towards the top, looking good.
Yeah, up there with the Team Expert. Now, here is the schedule. You guys just missed out on a series earlier, so check out the VODs if you get the chance. Here's the storms.com/esports will get you figured out and set up for all that fun stuff. Team Dignitas and Synergy. Dignitas walked away gleefully with a 3-0 victory. Playing Ducks and beGenius is the match that we're now about to watch here at 11:30 a.m. PST and 8:30 p.m. CET. Afterwards, Europe will be finished up, and our friends over in America with Dreadnought and Gillyweed will cast Tempo Storm taking on Team Freedom. Later on, No Tomorrow taking on Superstars.
Yeah. So looking forward to this next game to see how this is going to play out, because these two teams are two teams that are in a precarious spot.
Sure, yeah.
These two teams are in a situation where they did, unfortunately for themselves, lose their first games of the HGC Europe. And now, if you do go 2 series down, like Trix, but they had to fight amazing opponents, then you could be in a really rough condition.
Yeah, you're a bit of a hole. Well, we'll see what our teams think about the matchup. Let's see what they say.
Personally, I don't know too much about beGenius. We watched them obviously in the qualifier because we expected to maybe face them in like one of the decider matches, but we actually never got to play them. They're kind of my underdogs. I don't know how strong they are, or like if we can beat them, but I'm pretty sure like we have a good matchup against them.
They don't find their play style, so it should be not that difficult like other teams.
I think they are like pretty much a wild card now. Like everybody didn't expect them to qualify at first, so like I'm interested in how they develop. But I'm sure we can beat them. Like it's one of the teams I think we are able to beat, and we want to beat because we want to reach top 3. They beat EE in a pretty surprising way. Like everybody expected EE to go through, and then suddenly like beGenius came out of nowhere. Like they had a long break. Danatan was casting BlizzCon, I think, on the French channel, and everybody was like, nah, they didn't scrim for a while, they didn't do it, and then suddenly, bam, out of nowhere, they qualified.
I think it's a really new team, so we won't be in danger against them, I think.
Yeah, well, beGenius, the French team, it's a new team. I think we are the favorites if we're gonna play against them. Overall, I don't think they're bad, but I think they miss like a bit of experience. I know Danatan is for like 1 year in the scene already, but the rest is not known that much. But I think personally, like most of them are pretty good players, but I think they need a bit of synergy, and if we face them, I think we're gonna win.
Yeah, a matchup that we are definitely going to enjoy here. I think I kind of agree here. We're expecting the Playing Ducks to walk away with the victory, but beGenius is still a wild card. Last week they did face off against Synergy, and while not the most impressive games I've seen, you could see some flares here and there. This is a team that did well in the qualifiers. They qualified earlier than many expected them to do so. We need that fire today, or Playful Ducks, a team that wants to move up to the top 3 here in Europe, definitely will have a chance if they can get that victory.
I can be happily honest in saying that this is probably one of the games that I'm least likely to predict correctly. I don't really know how this game is going to go because I haven't seen enough of both of these teams playing, with one another, etc., to know exactly how the outcome is going to be. I think I would give a slight edge to Playing Ducks because they have a bit more experience behind them with someone like Chris there being kind of that leader role, even though he's not the team captain, just kind of a leader role to kind of bring the guys together.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. It's kind of like Germany versus France with just a few outliers on either team. So nice to see kind of the nations clash, as it were.
Okay, well, we'll see how it matches up here. Let's move to our battlegrounds, find out where we are doing battle here as our 2 teams fight for the right to score a victory for the first time in HGC Europe. The bands here, we have the band in the bottom right for Sky Temple. The band in the top left for beGenius will be Braxis Holdout. Now, the pick is going to be Dragonshire. That is the battleground that we are going to be moving to, and it looks like Playful Duck was the team to pick the actual battleground.
Yep.
So, Dragonshire being the first pick seems like a pick here where experience really shines for the team that's in the better upper hand, which, as we are talking about, is probably going to be Playful Ducks. They have Chris Explosion, who is really coming into his own as a leader, and then you also have Sports Billy, who has been around the block for a little bit when it comes to Europe. And he actually had a really good showing last week. He played more Zarya here and there, but he actually had one of the solid kill-death ratios for his team in Week 1.
Yeah, we could see Zarya being contested, actually, I think, between these two teams. Is that, we were on Dragonshire in the first week, and Playing Ducks did actually go for things like Zarya to just kind of complement some of their other damage dealers, in essence. So, because she kind of walks that fine line between damage dealer and warrior.
Yeah, and she really empowers the frontline warrior too, which is something that we'll talk about as we go throughout the draft. Danotan being one of those warrior players that can really just be in your face. Getting a Zarya on your team can be very handy for that. Here it is. We have begun draft number 1 here for Playing Ducks and beGenius facing off Dahaka, instantly banned out.
That was one of the heroes that I was looking for, see how the control was going to be handled. Another one I'm going to be looking for is Tychus. Tassadar, obviously, get out of here. We don't want to lose to a first-pick Tychus because then we will become a statistical outlier on the other side.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen with that.
So both teams actually favored Malfurion heavily in their first matchup last week. So we could see that down the line here. The Ragnaros picks up as beGenius starts to get on that meta train that we've been seeing the last couple of weeks. Now, looking over to Playful Ducks, they did favor Dahaka often in their first couple of slots. They moved straight into ETC and Tychus. So there it is. No major surprises yet for the Playful Ducks. Now, back over to beGenius. The heroes that we saw very often was Tychus, so that's been taken away here by Playing Ducks. We also saw a lot of ETC. beGenius also loses on that with Playful Ducks.
I think Malfurion and Falstad are 2 good pickups here for beGenius. Not only is Falstad always useful against ETC, because it's a synergy that we don't even really need to talk about now, or anti-synergy, or Gus trying to deal with a mosh pit, but also having a global would be nice for beGenius. Arakeen, we've seen him on Tychus and Dahaka, and then from that point on, it's a bit difficult. So maybe give him the Falstad since Dahaka is banned. Tychus is on the other side. We'll see how this plays out.
I think it's a good strategy, too, in game number 1, is to give Arakeen a chance to prove himself. In the first week, he didn't have the best of games. Poor guy. As we know, that Arakeen's actually a strong player there to supplement Danotan as well, so wouldn't mind seeing him get the Falstad. There's that Malfurion that they value so heavily, and Vala getting into the mix here for beGenius.
All right, so Vala coming in. Almost, to me, it feels almost like a denial and anything. I think it's probably going to be on Kirova for beGenius. And then from there now, I'm wondering what Playing Ducks is going to do.
Murden definitely becomes a choice right now to get rid up here. There is also the whole Arthas world that we know about from Danotan. So they definitely have a warrior slot here that I wouldn't mind seeing them ban out.
They could ban Johanna as well. That's another thing that actually Danatan kind of stands out for me as, and it's pretty good on this map, considering like this and Tomb of the Spider Queen, like we saw in our last series, are where Johanna, I feel, gains more value than anywhere else.
Yeah, she gets strong in 4-man rotations, and those are 2 battlegrounds that you can do a really good 4-man rotation. You can get away with it on Infernal Shrines too, but mostly Dragonshire and Tomb of the Spider Queen, you'll see that often. So yeah, I agree with you. Wouldn't mind seeing that ban. I feel like this is definitely slotted for the warrior slot. Johanna gets highlighted, and it looks like she will be the one banned out here. Great job. Gets a wave clear going overall. So playing Ducks right now is currently set up to be more of an initiation, maybe / isolation type of strategy. They don't have much wave clear on their side. beGenius needs to think about that. What hero could they get that has wave clear available for them later? Zeratul and Jaina are still available for this team. You could get either of those two.
Looking at what Diamond Skin actually took last time around, the Zarya would be something for me that would be a nice ban. I mean, I don't know if they couple it with a ETC Tychus. Tychus is quite sustainable himself.
They did get Zarya on Dragonshire last week.
Yeah.
This was also the battleground that we saw Zarya fall victim heavily a lot. She got picked up, I believe, 3 times in the matchup. So something to consider that maybe playing Ducks has played around with the idea of maybe she gets picked off too much, but still great with an ETC. You give that solid engage with the ability to build a lot of energy for it.
All right, Artanis. I was thinking something to the effect of maybe a Thrall ban could be a focus, because playing Ducks more so than the other teams worked it in towards, you know, a late stage of a draft, and I've seen it a little bit more beyond even just the HGC Europe. So, but let's see, as now is their choices. So I don't think they really need to take a support right now, but they could in case they want to save something crazy for last pick, of course.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. They need a top laner and they need a wave clear. Again, Zeratul and Jaina are still up, although I'm afraid if they go into that combo, it might be a bit too heavy on just pure combos, but Tychus kind of sitting on the outskirts. Tychus is not the best for falling up on those wombo combos, and I feel like EU drafts are more linear than what we see in North America, where they find a strategy they want to and they hone in on it pretty heavily. So we'll see what the pick is. Again, Thrall could be that top laner. Zeratul can be also a decent top laner. He just blinks around. You also have Alarak that's still floating around, but I haven't seen much Alarak from this team. Li Ming also is a hero that we could see. There's the wave clear, and they picked their support. So now we have Zul in the mix.
All right, so that means that our last one could be anything. With Zul, I don't want to say it.
Say it. Throw it out there. Just drop it.
It's currently 100% win rate in Europe. I think I don't even mind Chromie. And it's Chris after all, but we'll see down the line. You never know. So let's talk about beGenius. Right, what do they have to mix in? Has to be a warrior. Probably going to be Muradin, right?
Probably,
and then from there, what rounds this out? What do you think?
Muradin, I wanted them to have a stronger front line, even with Muradin. They're a little on the scarier side. I wouldn't mind seeing the double warrior.
Muradin Zarya?
Could see the Muradin Zarya be destructive. I don't think they played it last week, but wouldn't mind seeing it. Arthas is still on the table. Muradin and Arthas can be an incredible front line.
Yes.
They can be incredible. You have to get really good flanks off. The problem is they'll lose out on a lot of their wave clear. Ragnar's probably top, and Valo will be all the wave clear.
It's true, tried and tested. I mean, Dignitas halfway through 2016, Muradin Arthas was a great little comp, and it will be that. Good call, Trick. That's solid.
There it is, and now it just comes down to the 5th pick here. I feel like Zul was taken because Expert used Zul against playing Ducks, and they were like, wow, that was kind of good.
Yeah.
Let's take this hero.
This is nice.
I still want a top laner for them. So the Thrall pick kind of makes sense that you were talking about earlier. I wouldn't even mind a Falstad, honestly. ETC would be a little bit on the hard side to run over, but you put Falstad in the top lane, and that way you can get isolation picks. You just clear. You don't actually win that lane. You just hold against the Ragnaros that's pushing your way. So we'll see what route Playing Ducks wants to go, but this 5th pick will be probably someone to hold that top lane.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go with that. Maybe some more frontline as well. Because, I mean, you've got Muradin, Arthas, and Ragnaros staring you down on the other side. ETC Zul against that? It feels a bit flimsy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's definitely, you put ETC in a spot to where he can do knockbacks. He's never actually going for engages for kills.
Yeah.
You just want to empower Zul to not ever lose health bar, because if he loses health bar, he loses the ability to get aggressive wave clear down. So, I think I agree with you that you don't want to go that route. And they actually go for Leoric. Oh, I forgot about Leoric in the top lane. Yeah, because Arthas is probably the one in the top lane here, or Ragnaros. But still, Leoric can win this lane if he hits his Drain Hopes. Ragnaros is actually a bigger hitbox. compared to most. So Leoric can get those Drain Hopes off pretty well. The problem is if he ever does miss that Drain Hope, Ragnaros can run away with that lane. So Leoric's going to have a hard time, but he can win it.
Yeah, I think I like the Leoric.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Just to round down the face-off of that front line. Obviously, he's very, very powerful against Muradin, Arthas, when he is actually able to go. I hope he goes full Drain Hope build, actually.
Yeah.
Here, because I think it will help him more in the team fight and, help in that solo lane for a little while.
It'll give him, 1, the ability to get the front lines low on health, but 2, the ability to actually be a threat in those fights as a frontline warrior. The main thing, too, is that I like about this comp is that you normally want to wave clear a lot, push people out, and then kind of out-rotate them based on the vision that you get from all the pushing that occurs. So Leoric gives them the ability to move into a fight. It's not working out too well, they disengage well. They can use the Entomb, they can leave Leoric there to slow down the opposing members, and everyone backs out well based on the call.
Yep. All right, well, this, I said at the beginning of the series, it's still the beginning of the series, I said this a few minutes ago, is that it's very difficult for me to call how this series is going to go. I think I will give a slight edge to playing Ducks, and I think the composition's pretty good for it as well. What do you think?
I kind of look over to beGenius slightly here, just a little bit. I like their front line and the ability for them to get isolation. I think overall, I look at playing Ducks as probably the more skilled team.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the draft overall. But what do you think at home? We always want to hear. Hit us up on Twitter. Use that Heroes Esports and use that hashtag HGC. We'll read your tweets live on air and, of course, mix them in during the broadcast. But, yeah, it's definitely an interesting matchup. If that Ragnaros lane goes poorly for Leoric, I could see them running away with that top lane owning it.
I like that we disagree.
I like that, too.
I like that.
We're so comfortable. We're in this relationship now where I can disagree with
all right. That's fine.
We're fighting now, apparently. I didn't expect the fist. That came out of nowhere. I was done with the words verbally lashing at each other, but the fist...
English hooligan. Sorry. We like brawls. That's how it is. We like brawls.
All right, guys. It's time for game number 1. beGenius taking on the Playing Ducks. Who will score the first win? We'll find out soon. Game number 1 now begins here. Let's do it. Dragonshire will be our battleground. Kalaris, kick it off for us.
All right. To the left-hand side, we have previous Diamond Skin now playing Ducks with Wolf Joe going to be playing on the Rehgar. We have Chris Splosion on the ETC. We have, coming up, Sports Billy will be playing Zul. Next up, we will have Chris on that Tychus. And finally, to round things out, it's Nande going to be on the Leoric.
And on the far right, beGenius will be wearing the red here. Erikeen is going to be pulling off that Ragnaros. Looking for him. I want to see how well he plays this weekend. Danatan with his trademark Arthas. Kirwa with the Vala going to bring in that DPS. Tank for the win. Tankin with Muradin. And then last but not least, Unstable here with the Malfurion.
Blocks, blocks, blocks. Make sure that none of these minions get farther. Likewise on the other side, blocks, blocks, blocks. The most chaotic part of the game. Who knows who's going to block well?
The frontline minion starts charging towards the other minions, and that block didn't do too hot. It actually groups up relatively well here in the middle. The immediate clear here from Nande, and he will move the top lane, and this is where it begins. The road to level 10. Can Playing Ducks keep up with the wave clear between the middle and the bottom lane, and then it comes down to beGenius. How do they handle this pressure that will continue to push their way?
Yeah, Playing Ducks across this bottom and mid, I think they have huge control. So for the most part, when it comes to them needing that aggression, early game, I think they've got it here in spades. They can lock down these 2 lanes very nicely. And then on the other side, up towards the top, Leoric will sit there and just do his thing.
Well, beGenius on their side, in their case game, I wrote down bend, don't break. I feel like it's a team that loses fights occasionally here and there. They seem to have some growing pains they're going through. But it's okay to have that type of style. Have decent defense, but the moment you learn that you're not winning a fight, bend a little bit. Lose a member, regroup, and set up. This team, when they are on point, they can make plays happen. Use that to your advantage. Nande taking some pressure on the top lane, but Chris Explosion goes for the counter engage. There's the power slide, and to Tychus damage. Erikeen low on HP.
And there was no grenade follow-up there. Nande's looking for that flank on towards Erikeen. He doesn't want to go too far, though, knowing that Tank for the win could jump around. And he is going a Drain Hope build, so I really like that start from Nande. And no kills to begin with.
No kills. I did like the aggressive play in the middle lane. Malfurion went in for the possible dragon grab because beGenius had both shrines, but Sports Billy showed up had nice of a slowdown just to make sure they didn't grab it, and now Playing Ducks are back at it, moving forward.
But when you speak of slowing down, I also kind of like what beGenius did, which was putting a lot of pressure onto the top lane, which then forces Playing Ducks to stop the four-man craziness between mid and bottom that they have so much strength over. Unfortunately, though, for beGenius, they didn't control it well enough, and now Playing Ducks got back into the rhythm, got the control in those lanes, and got themselves Dragon Knight.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. One of the strengths of the Zool compositions is that they just hold the early game so well. If you can throw a wrench into the plan in any way, the toolbox becomes less full of tools, right? They move to the mid game and suddenly beGenius has the ability to handle them because they're holding on. But the Dragon being lost here definitely hurts here as you're able to grab a couple more turrets and get the push going, which means now the Zool push that's occurring will start hitting the forts, which is where you start losing that ammo, which means you get later mid-stage pushes that could eventually take a fort.
And it looks like Nanda here with level 4 fealty until death means that he's more than likely just to be playing solo for a long, long time, just finding that sustain there and just finding opportunities to maybe split push where he can, which will work out all right, but come a team fight, a little bit less impact on that Drain Hope. So, all good, all good.
Okay, well, now we move to the next stage here where Zool pushes continue to happen and we start moving towards Mercenary Camp. And this is where that strategy we saw earlier from beGenius can be very impactful. If you move to the top lane and you bring a couple members up to the top lane, you lose the pressure of possible mercs being taken by the opposing team. So they might incorporate that strategy more often, continuing to put pressure on Nande in the top left. In fact, they grabbed the Mercenaries and they started another rotation and they're already grabbing their own mercs once again. I like this play from beGenius.
Now, it's a small thing in terms of those easy camps towards the bottom being timed out like they were, as we do have probably the first kill of the game. Muradin will go down. First kill going to Playing Ducks, but because they delayed their giant camp towards the bottom just for a little bit longer, that means the one for beGenius pushes onto the other side of the map just by a few feet here and there. And then that gives Playing Ducks the opportunity to clean that up nicer and then pressure in turn because they cleaned up so easily.
Yeah, they are weathering the storm relatively well. I'm actually kind of impressed by beGenius in their movement and their rotations. It's a very strong composition to have to deal with. The Zool constantly pushing you will get a lead, but that lead is mitigated by how they're playing. About a half a level. So the next shrine now activating. Playing Ducks should play aggressive here and set themselves up for a dragon. If they can get this before 10, they're going to be a great spot moving into the mid game, especially if they could take a fort.
Ironforge Momentum at level 7. So the normal go-to at the moment is Skullcracker, not only for those mini stuns, but also the 25% extra attack speed. So looks like our Muradin here on the side of Tank for the Win just wants what I assume is more Thunderclaps over. I mean, more Storm Balls is always nice, but more Thunderclaps for healing static later on to gain even more sustainability.
Yeah, you can really stick to people with that. Oh, and there is the Ragnaros. This was a very patient gank. I'm actually surprised that Eric King played that aggressively. We hadn't seen anyone on the map for the last 20 seconds, which is a good indicator that he's somewhere ganking. He could have played that safe, could have poked from his W, so a bit of a misplay there from Eric King, and that will award the shrine in the top, but also that lane is going to get pushed in, which means they lose out on experience.
I loved that zoning route by Unstable, knowing that there was the potential for Chris to slide in there and cause him some issue. Just throw down the zoning route, even if Chris doesn't get hit by it, at least he saved himself. Chris now, though, under a lot of pressure here, and he looks to go down. That is going to be the first kill, going over to beGenius to get them on the scoreboard.
beGenius on the scoreboard here, getting a couple of kills here before they move into the next stage. Now, Playing Ducks does have level 10, which is important, but with them not having Tychus available, this opens up the ability here for Danatan to move down and grab that shrine. There's real no major damage that can come his way to bully him off of that.
I like that we've got to the point as well now in Heroes of the Storm where it's almost exclusively Skeletal Mages, not Poison Nova. Because Skeletal Mages, not only, it just gives you so much control, but Poison Nova is pretty unreliable. And you have to be in the thick of things and almost dead in competitive play to actually get good damage off it, and then bleh. So I love Skeletal Mages, love it.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Poison Nova is just a little too difficult to actually connect with. Also, the Skeletal Mages are health bars. Even if you don't get the control on the slow, their health bars in the way. They block skill shots for you. It's just such a great pickup to pick up. So we have a slight pause here. We'll get ready in a second here and figure out what exactly is occurring for our team. So just an update, we do have Saphir Smash, Strafe, Twilight Dream, and then the Avatar State picked up for the rest of the red team. So pretty standard picks overall. But so far, beGenius has weathered the Zool ownage of early game that he pulls off so well. And they haven't lost a fort, which is a big deal. Great defense so far by them.
Yeah, and so it looks like it was beGenius that was pausing, correct?
Yeah, looks like it.
So, yeah, hoping that they get their issues resolved soon. I'm wondering, overall, what do we have? 2 kills to 1? So no huge shifts in momentum really at the moment. Nobody's really established themselves in a massive lead, I feel. But...
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at the shakeouts here. I feel like in terms of team fight, for the most part, the red team is good. And just an update for you, Kirwa is having a slight lag.
Right.
Thank you here for the tweet. Been watching HGC all day at work. Keep up the great cast on games. Trickster, Calaris, game day weekend. Bringing over the last week shenanigans that you decided to pull out on us.
I know. There'll be many more shenanigans to come whilst I'm here. Don't you worry.
Don't you worry. Looks like we are actually ready to go. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are counting in, moving back into the matchup. Dragonshire, thank you for joining us here. Playing Ducks facing off against beGenius.
All right, so rejoining the state of the game here, as we do have an attempt on towards Arakeen. Now, Arakeen was one of their deaths on the side of beGenius. So not too crazy a position just yet for him, but does have to be wary. Skeletal Mages are going to come out. Slow Danatan as well as Kirva for a moment there. Explosion just knocks back Tank for the win, and Ghouls were popped, but they just decide to back off. So that's 1 heroic for 1 heroic. Not too bad, not too impactful.
That entire fight was actually stopped by Tank for the win. Chris Explosion came in for a power slide on Volo, but the Stormbolt prevented that from occurring, which stopped the fight on beGenius' Volo, which allowed for him to survive. Kudos to Murden, Tank for the win, saving his teammate.
Yeah, I've been impressed by Tank for the win, actually, considering the plays we've seen from him. So he doesn't have ghouls, and actually this is going to be a great body block coming in from Chris Explosion and knockback. That's a kill. 3-1 in terms of those kills at the moment.
And now the Shrine in the bottom will be awarded to Playing Ducks. They currently have control of both, but beGenius is attempting to change that. Arakeen and Kirwa move to the top right, start applying pressure. Nande will hit the Drain Hope, but too much pressure from this team. But the Dragon is being channeled in the middle, and Playing Ducks will be able to take it. Nande delays long enough to award his team here of the first Dragon of the game.
Yeah, difficult.
Or second Dragon.
Yeah, it's going to get, towers, maybe find some pressure to find themselves a fort here or there, but it's propelling them towards 13. beGenius falling behind slightly here. Wolf Joe getting some damage done. And the rotation, unfortunately, for beGenius, a little slow there to really start ramping up that pressure. You can see, actually, them trying to deal with the rotation up towards the top here. Sulfurous Smash comes in on towards one of the members, and Tank for the win. Almost dead. Gonna have to leap away. He doesn't have third win, so he's not going to heal up that fast, but ETC did end up going down for that. 2 members down. beGenius rotates and denies. Some good damage from Playing Ducks.
I want to call out Unstable in that fight. He actually pre-cleansed the Dragon Kick that would have kicked Ragnaros away, but Ragnaros got the Saphira Smash off because of him not getting kicked away from the fight. Great cleanse by Unstable, and that was one of the reasons why beGenius was able to secure that takedown. Now, also something to note is you normally don't put your healer in the Dragon. It seems like in the panic mode there, they had to throw their Rhaegar into the Dragon Knight, which prevented any healing from occurring. But there also is some strategy here. You put Rhaegar in the Dragon Knight, and that allows Zul and your Leoric to continue with the sides pushing. You just have to be careful and not get picked off, which is what occurred there for the Playing Ducks.
That's true. So maybe Playing Ducks shouldn't have gone for an attempt at a rotation down towards bottom and just looked for more opportunities elsewhere. Yeah,
you literally just put Zul in the middle lane, you have 2 in the back, and you protect him, and you let Leoric do whatever, because he's Leoric. No one likes him. Obviously, as you know from Diablo 3 lore.
Betrayed.
Yeah, betrayed, right? So you throw him in the top lane, he does whatever he wants, and you just make sure Zul doesn't die. There's a mistake there from Playing Ducks, and they lose out on their ability to use the Dragon Knight to their advantage.
Well, no, I like your critical analysis of that, and I think it's right on the money if you've got your healer in that Dragon Knight. So for now, that's given beGenius a bit of momentum back in this game. They're warming up that hoisin sauce, looking to roast some ducks and chow down on them. So let's see how that's going to play.
Did you say hoisin sauce?
Yeah, sure. Why? What?
Nothing, man.
Look, I want to
really cool guy.
I want to get as many duck puns in as possible.
Well, good luck for them. We'll see if they do get roasted here. 14-13. beGenius continuing with the wave play here. They do grab control of the map a little bit, but again, I feel like the major power spike of this competition for playing Ducks has been nullified. I feel like beGenius is just in the rotations here. As long as they don't get ever power slided into a massive mosh pit or a bone prison, they should be good to go. Playing safe here is the most important, especially on Unstable. If they can continue to get this and grab a dragon, I see them starting to run away with this game.
Yeah, they definitely could. That looks like playing Ducks here. Just going to have to, unfortunately, walk away with their tail feathers between the legs here for the most part in these little skirmishes.
As long as they do it in the V formation, I will be happy. Chrisplosion taking some more pressure here on the bush. He will walk up there. Saphira smash. The cleanse is popped immediately here from Wolf Joe to make sure they're alive. And beGenius does pull away.
I think aside from misses, that is the least impactful Sulfura smash we've had in HGC Europe so far.
Yeah.
So need to get some combos going on behind that. Get some roots in, get some follow-up on the damage. Looks like some damage going on towards Sarah. Arakin gets caught out. The fact that he was slowed there, not only by the Skeletal Mages, but even caught by the Entomb, will seal Ragnaros' death.
This is what playing Ducks needed here. Get a kill right when the shrines pop up and they can start making their plays again. Just let Sports Billy do his thing with the continuous pushes. He does that in the middle. All of beGenius move to the top left. Now do note, Wolf Joe is in the bottom. He is the one controlling the shrine, so there is no healer here for playing Ducks. This fight needs to be careful. The good news is there's no major burst here on the side of beGenius because Ragnaros is taken out for them to worry about. So they should be able to handle wrestling away the shrine back.
I like that we actually at level 13 for Zul do have the extra little power behind on Giant's Curse. So his cleave is going to take off a little bit more damage here and there from the lineup that feels pretty heavily melee on the side of beGenius. So if Zul's getting some good swipes off, he's going to do a lot.
Yeah, it's an additional 2% of the health taken away. So what double tanks, the Muradin, the Arthas here, just those big health pulls suddenly start getting shredded down. It's his own form of Giant Killer. Now, it is only available during his Curse Strike, says W, so you got to make sure that you use that and you save it for the perfect engage. But if you get a good Skeletal Mage off of the double Warriors, you could theoretically get all, 5 swaps or swipes off of the opposing team. That's 10% of the health burned out on top of the damage you naturally have.
Look at that. Everyone loves your tie here in the office, out in the Twitterverse. Everybody.
Oh, thanks to Dolar. Appreciate the love, man. Continue these tweets, man. We love seeing you guys talk about the HGC. Aggression in the bottom right. Finally here, the Playing Ducks are starting to take a final lead here. They get the first 4 of the game. They also get a keep wall, which is great news for them.
Yeah, and you can see Leoric waiting on the wings there, not only just to kind of catch somebody on an Entomb if they step forward, but if they feel in peril a little bit, you can actually just block that off with Entomb and walk away. So denying flanks with space control here from playing Ducks is very strong.
Yeah, Leoric just really controls quarters very well on this battleground. It's one of the maps that he has so many areas to really just kind of dictate the fights. This and 2 minutes Spider Queen. So, yep, Nande, you never want to chase into that Leoric. We saw earlier what could happen as Arakin was picked off by playing Ducks earlier.
They're looking to move on through the middle here, and I think beGenius realized that their easy camp and easy camp was going to be done at the same time-ish, so they're just looking to confirm and check that out. There was no way that they could really invade there considering playing Duck's position and the time that they did go in. Hard camp pushing towards the top will hurt, but I think they're giving up a fort for this. There's no way they can defend that right now.
With Leoric and Zul showing in the top lane, automatically beGenius goes for the push. We're going to have to peel up one of these guys here because I think beGenius wins the push. Also because they have Molten Core available, that they could actually take a keep here if there's too much commitment in the top right for playing Ducks. And beGenius realizes this. They have 2 Giants that they can supplement with the push, and they can supplement up for more damage. Tank for the win, watching the flank. These are all great textbook plays here.
Yeah, I think in theory they could have left Zul up there and let the hard camp push with him, guaranteeing potentially even more damage, and then just use Leoric as the tool of like, if you are still stepping forwards, we're going to entomb one of you, and then 4v5 with keep damage here and there, we could do something. But no, they're going to play it super safe, as you were mentioning, and that hard camp's still not doing too badly up towards the top.
Yeah, it'll break it down. Maybe actually get the kill there with that wave being taken off. Actually, yeah, it should with the armor or with the ammo not being available. So a nice play here by playing Ducks as they move towards level 20. Both teams just kind of dancing around right now, grabbing whatever they can, waiting for the Storm Power talents. For the most part, beGenius should be the passive one now, because playing Ducks is closer to 20. Any kills here taken could be painful for them unless they find out that they have a number advantage in the fight.
All right, so Playing Ducks with their level 16s, they have a lot of, I feel, potential behind it. Not only the Earthgrass Totem, but also the amplified damage. So one target is going to get slowed down, one target is going to get rooted with big power. The cleanse is so important, I feel, for that initial Bone Prism, that if you don't actually land that as Malfurion on the other side, one of your targets is potentially just going to get deleted.
Yeah. So this is going to be on our Malfurion player here on the right. He has to make sure he lands that wonderful cleanse ability. There is 4 moving to the top lane right now. Is Nande in trouble as the Ragnaros, Vala, and such are grouping up? No, they're just holding the position. And I like this move by Wolf Joe and Chris. He just goes straight to the middle fort. They're getting that experience here. And beGenius takes the opportunity to push this fort down as well. They're trading experience right now. Both are just desperately chasing that level 20 dream.
That's right. They're trading the experience, but it's always going in the way of playing Ducks because they are closer to the 20, right? So as much as beGenius is saying, yeah, okay, let's just kind of go blow for blow, they need to have made a catch-up move before 20, which they didn't look for. Not find, but they didn't even look for. So,
yeah, they're in a weird spot now where they have the burden of out-rotating their opponent, or they lose a fight. So they have a couple of choices. Just out-rotate or give up the dragon and hope for a defense. Now, luckily, they do have Vala, so they do have a relatively strong defense with their auto attacks. They can break it down relatively quickly once you get those stacks going. But they do realize that Nande is top. They go for a slight engage. The mages come out instantly. I'm watching, and they turn this around. No, they are content with taking out that heroic.
Yeah, that was them looking for it. Unfortunately, just a little bit too late. It was probably a great opportunity, to be honest, with the fact that, as you said, Leoric was away. But now that's guaranteed Dragon Knight here for Sport Billy. And he'll be moving on down towards the bottom.
Yep. Normally you want to go for the bottom lane. 1, they've already got the wall down. And then 2, if you kill that off, you have a possible win scenario available to you with a giant push later on in the game if you get a good team fight going on. So straight to the bottom lane they go. Start applying pressure on the keep. The Molten Core will be popped, and now they decide whether they want to go for a full engage. The Entomb pops out, Nani takes some damage. Strafe is used at the same time. Ancestor healing is clutch, though, Kalaris.
Oh, yeah, that was so good to actually save Crisplosion there for the moment. As I say, that big red button now is going to lay siege to this location as well. Sport Billy here is taking quite a bit of damage on his Dragon Knight. So Molten Core, one of the MVPs there to deny a lot of that damage, but he's not done yet. He's still going to go for some big swings.
This wave might give them 20, though. They need to clear it, but they just don't have the poke, and there is the keep. 20 is here for beGenius, but with the catapult pressure, finally the Playing Ducks get the momentum they've been looking for the entire game.
Yeah, so now Tank for the win, gonna jump in there. So an ambitious move by him, but they have 20 now. They're looking for some damage somewhere. Danatan in the thick of things, having sacrificed his schools left, right, and center, but it's not going to be enough. He will end up falling. That's a lot of the front line here from beGenius taken out, and they're going to have to flee away 5v4.
Unfortunate for Danatan there. I believe he assumed that Drain Hope was actually used when Muradin went for the fight.
Yeah.
But Drain Hope just locked onto him, burned down his health, and then having the Army of the Dead up just was not enough. The flank was just a second or two too aggressive. Had that not happened, we could be singing his praise. But you have to have the patience and the understanding of what your opponent's going to do in that scenario. And Playing Ducks burned him alive with a Drain Hope and the Tychus minigun.
Absolutely. And that's why we were singing the praises of this Drain Hope build from the word go against this kind of heavier frontline. Crushing Hope for me at level 13 is something that, as a warrior, you have to be so fearful of.
And then you have the Spectral Leech as well, which is a 5% maximum health. Really, they just shred their opponent's tanks. So beGenius obviously going to be thinking about that one for the next fight. Luckily for them, they didn't take any more damage. They held pretty well. They had a 4 member still. Again, that bend don't break mentality is important for beGenius, so they did relatively solid there. Tank for the win will draw a Storm Bolt into the bush here and seize all 5 members. Great play by Playing Ducks, but an even better play by beGenius.
I think that was slightly telegraphed because of the minimap. So let's think about it. They didn't see them down there, but they also didn't see any camps being taken. So what else are they doing, right? Like, they have to be somewhere on their map, trying to find a trap somewhere, because otherwise they're just doing nothing on the other side of the map, twiddling the thumbs. That's not pro Heroes of the Storm mentality.
Yeah, gotta agree with you. Playing Ducks assuming that beGenius, somebody would come down and clear that wave in the bottom right. It just did not work out for them. Great heads-up play by Tank for the win. Now, Shrines are activating in the next 30 seconds, and we are effectively at an even game when it comes to storm powers and all that fun stuff, but at the same time, Playing Ducks does have the benefit of the pressure in the bottom lane with those catapults. So beGenius is forced to hold down this bottom lane, which means Playing Ducks can send one person to the top, grab a shrine, bring him on down, and then fight for the power here to grab that bottom shrine.
All right, so now the front line for beGenius, obviously, if Danatan is in the middle of a fight at the same time as the rest of his team, Legion of Northrend will give him massive sustain at level 20. It means that those ghouls are going to heal him for 50% more when you do sacrifice them, and I think you get more ghouls as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's something that is very powerful for the Lich King himself.
Yep. Those 3 additional ghouls will help him out a lot, so he'll have a total, I believe, 8 there, if I remember correctly. So the engage in the bottom will occur for beGenius. This play is nice for them. It allows for them to, 1, start dealing with catapults, and 2, bring the tension of Playing Ducks to the bottom left. Sadly, with no globals being available, they can't really sneak up to the top and grab that shrine. And they also are having to deal with the Merc pressure that's in the top lane as well that has been picked up from Playing Ducks. So beGenius is in this weird scenario where they're in the back foot, but they have to make a play, but Playing Ducks isn't going to put themselves in a scenario to give up that play. This is what we see often in EU in the late game. Both teams understand how intense a death can be in the late game scenario.
I like that beGenius is trying to set up for this, but he gets found instantly. So they were checking every bush as they advanced on there, slowly towards the bot lane. Nande was doing a good job, just drain hoping every single bush. It's like, you're not going to catch the grass, but at least if you catch a Muradin, you're in happy times. You're not going to get completely blindsided.
And this is scary. Danatan went to the top lane to actually deal with the mercenary pressure coming their way, which means Playing Ducks makes their move. Skeletal Magus has been dropped to zone out the entire backline. Tank for the win, trying to slow down the potential grab of the dragon. So Fierce Smash was used, and Sports Billy gets hit by it down to half HP. Luckily, Wolf Joe will be able to walk over to help out with the engage and heal him on up. At the same time, ETC is taking some damage and is forced to bolt away. There is the Ancestor healing, and Nande taking damage on the York does kite backwards, and beGenius is actually winning this fight, but Chrisplosion on the back.
Tank for the win actually missed one of his storm bolts there on towards Chris, so he might have actually picked up the full kill on him even before he had got past the gate, if that had have hit. But Chrisplosion, likewise, taking a bit of damage. Here comes the Newt once again, doesn't hit anything. Still putting some pressure on against Nande at the top. It's just blow for blow at the moment, looking for Chrisplosion again, and they're trying to chew their way through these warriors, but it's not working. Adakin, very, very low, manages to get away. Twilight Dream comes out, forcing the retreat from Playing Ducks.
Hitting all 5 members. Danatan continuing the chase, but they are getting low on mana. Chrisplosion walks away with less than a quarter of his health. At the same time, Leoric in trouble at the top left and will be able to escape. No one dies over that 20-second fight. The thing is, catapults are on the core. Shredding through the initial armor, Danatan's able to grab the bottom shrine, and they're going to have to reset up and start up for another fight.
You know what's funnier? Is that actually, I thought it was maybe like 20 seconds or whatever, but Sulfury Smash was used at the start of that fight, and as the fight subsided, it just came off cooldown. So it was 60 seconds-ish of fighting, and nobody died.
It's actually relatively insane how close these teams are together in terms of skill. Molten Core has popped in the middle here to stop the dragon from being grabbed. beGenius just can't move. They don't have an inch here of movement to go grab a shrine and stop this Dragon Knight from being grabbed. Finally, with the use of Molten Core and the reveal of the Giants being grabbed in the bottom left, they peel off a few of their members to finally grab that shrine on the top.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, both teams, you know, sacrifice the potential of getting something like a false stat in the mix to try and go for those rotations that you so sorely desire when you're having to contest against a Dragon Knight and Shrines that, you know, you're not in a favorable spot to do so. So they're just favoring more that 5v5 strength, that 5v5 team fight. And so far, beGenius is holding on, but they're in some dire straits.
No, the shrines are grabbed once again. Skeletal Mages pop down here in the bottom left, actually as a tool to see if that bush had been grabbed. Tank for the wins in the top left, and they will start putting pressure on the dragon, and once again the rotations continue. And this will be a thing. This is back and forth. This is the tug of war of the Dragon Shire. When you have 2 teams that are equal in footing and in team fight, you're going to see this happen often.
Right, so moving towards the bottom now, looking for the rotation on that. They've gone quite far forwards here. Tank for the win is split off against from them, so he's going to take a lot of damage here. He's going to need to jump out. He's going to die if he's not careful. Oh, heals come out, and he is okay. So he actually took Stormform at 16. I didn't even realize. So he's got even a little bit more extra solo sustain to help him out.
Gives him the power to kind of help deal with that Tychus that will definitely be shredding him. The keep would be wonderful here for the team to grab, but they are being killed away by Nande and crew. Chris has popped his
Don't go too
Odin.
far.
Danaton is going for the escape.
Arakeen.
Does he have his Army of Dead? No, Arakeen though goes into the Ragnaros Molten Core. Will not connect the Molten Swing, but does get the Runic Blast and a little bit of poke on the back line. Great disengagement playing Ducks. Too often last week did we see teams walk into massive Molten Swings, but playing Ducks does not bite on the bait.
Yeah, they were ready for it. I was a little bit worried as if they were going to go too far forwards there. You've always got to be wary of that potential, but they don't. They're fine. And now the sustain is so strong for them. And Nandi will take quite a bit of damage. Wraith walks away for the moment. That's going to be a nice mosh. One person's going to be cleansed. Danatang gets out of there, but another one's in the middle, and it's both warriors, so they're okay. Big Q comes out there with that Sulfurous empowerment, as that's going to be Lyric falling at the top. This is a good opportunity for beGenius.
He gets the Blink Root. Nice play by Unstable. Can Chris Explosion get hit by a Stormbolt? No, both Chris's dodge the Stormbolt, but the keep now with a Leoric not available could be in trouble. There goes the movement from beGenius. They get their first catapult here, or a keep of the game to get catapults, and at the same time there's still pressure in the top right corner as their keep is actually being taken out already from the playing Ducks grab of those mercenaries. Nande though trying to slow down the retreat here of Arakeen. Arakeen, could he get caught out once again by the opposing team? No, Unstable is there to help out with a root, and beGenius will walk away 1-for-1 in terms of keys being taken out.
Maybe if they had Molten Core off cooldown, they could have done a little bit more there at the keep location as it died off and then tried to pressure, but it was on cooldown for another about 10 seconds or so, so didn't want to try and risk anything. It was only Leoric down now. Obviously, he comes back quite quickly. So just going to play it safe, steady. You mentioned that there was a keep dying up to the top, right? So
yep, Brosidon showed us, thank you, the observer here, showing that the keep did get taken out in the top right by those mercenaries that pushed in. So now 2 keeps down here for beGenius. Playing Ducks has 2 lanes that will be applying the pressure, and they're just playing the waiting game. Choke out your opponent here, and at some point you're going to get an advantage if they're not defending it, and if they go defend it, then you have a 5v4.
Yeah, it hurts beGenius. It's a notion that I always stick to, which is like, if you are down 2 keeps, please let them be in the close lanes to each other so you can clean them up nicely. Thankfully, the hard camp will help out towards the top, but when that's gone, and if the game drags on for a good few minutes, then catapults in the bottom, catapults in the top, it becomes a big, big problem.
That it does, and you have to wonder, is there a scenario here where beGenius just goes for a core rush and makes the opposing team pull back?
They might.
got both shrines here, and they're actually going for it. Now, they do have Molten Core available here. They have that heroic difficulty available to them, so will they move in for the push?
Look, Arakeen's already positioning. You can see it. He wants to make sure that he goes into that keep at just the right location, but they realize it's 5 against them now. Don't want to take a risk just yet. And he will back away. Tank for the win, waiting up on that bush towards the flank, but they've been good about checking, and he will check once again. Will Nande.
I'm just watching here. Zul's peeled off. He's gone the top left, which means that Murden, if he wants to get aggressive and can land that Stormbolt, could be good to go. Luckily for playing Ducks, they've already thought about that in their draft phase, getting Leoric, the hero that can sit in the front line. You don't have to worry too much about that engage occurring. He has Unstoppable available for him, and he can die if he does get picked off.
Yeah, and it's easier for Zul to not be caught himself because that middle fort is still up, right? So there's technically kind of a safe path, in inverted commas, for him to walk through as opposed to go all the way back to base and then go all the way to bottom lane. But that's going to be Valor up to the top, denying Shrine control. Likewise, Tank for the win, just camping out that Dragon Knight. Slow and steady pace to the end of this game because they know that one single move can cost them. Both teams, in fact.
Yeah, that's definitely a case of turtle versus turtle, as both teams are just trying to keep rotations up and just do enough to where your opponents can't make a move, but enough where you never get caught out of position. Tank for the win does move to the bottom left. The Yorick will move in with the Drain Hope, and also Wraith walk away. Finally, Tank for the win will take it away, but at the same time, ETC, Chris Explosion has moved up to the top, and you have to start to wonder, when does the play happen here? I feel like it's on beGenius to make the play.
Yeah, it feels that way. It's all about forcing engagement, seeing if playing Ducks are going to overstep the mark. Because technically, playing Ducks can play this super patiently. They can just not take fights unless it's right at their core and be in a very, very comfortable position. You can see Chris even being next to that keep, just in case Ragnaros was to move forward, so you can then throw out a grenade, easily stop him.
Gotta agree with you. And Tank for the win set up here in the top right corner. But at the same time, beGenius could be saying to themselves, hey guys, we power spike at level 30. Let's just go ahead and keep farming until then.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that for beGenius, I mean, playing Dux knows that beGenius's only path right now is bot lane. So as long as they just kind of, you know, prioritize that a little more, they know that beGenius is going to have to stretch out, again, up to top lane, down to bottom lane constantly. And that gives playing Dux a lot more control over the map, to be honest with you.
I like that beGenius made sure to grab the Giants in the bottom left and the bottom right. That kind of forces playing Dux to move down and defend them. Or if they don't defend them, they might actually have a chance to get pressured in.
This is quite far out, is playing Dux right now, across the other side of the map. But likewise, beGenius here, they can't really do much about it. Maybe they could have gone for a rotation and tried to find a fight, but that's putting a lot of your eggs in one big basket.
You don't want to do that. One drops and suddenly they all crack. Oh, but playing Dux does move in for the bush rotation. Tank for the win, goes for the Storm Bolt, and Chrisplosion will fall below half health here. Tank for the win, continuing with the aggression. Chrisplosion goes in for the power slide, trying to get on Tank for the win. He is healing here though. Malfurion giving him the heals, and playing Dux will back off as their tank has been chunked pretty heavily here.
I mean, the talent choices from Tank for the win are kind of sacrificing a little bit of his playmaking ability to just stay alive. So Stormform could have been something like Heavy Impact, which would then secure an extra stun on someone and then guarantee, or potentially guarantee, a kill that can then snowball from that 5v4 situation. But because of that, that's why we're seeing slightly slower engagement, slightly slower late game, because some of those playmaking things have gone for the moment.
Danatan does pop Army the Dead, moves in for the power slide, or the engage, and there's a power slide available for ETC in the top left, so watch out for it here. Tank for the win pulls out. I do want to know that Tank for the win actually had a chance to grab that dragon, as Drain Hope was going to miss, but he right-clicked off of it, assuming that he would get hit by the Drain Hope, and that will cost them a dragon. Catapults once again, pressure on the top lane, pressure on the bottom lane. beGenius backs up, and this is the window that has opened up for playing Dux.
I mean, if that situation is exactly how you said it just then, that Dragon Knight could have potentially finished the game. Oh, that could finish the game if they're not careful. Nanda ends up going down. Chris going to have to dash on out of there as well. Danatan in the back was very low, but he managed to get away earlier before we actually joined this fight. And now it's one kill, but it's only Leoric. So maybe they can get themselves a Dragon. If they can get Dragon Knight off this, they could potentially finish.
We'll see if they can do it. Ragnaros sneaks down the bottom lane, starts to grab it, but ETC is already in the top. And we'll be able to grab it. The thing is, Leoric has been taken out, but he still gives vision of where the entire team is, which gives the tools to playing Dux to make the correct choice without getting picked off. And already, once again, there's catapult pressure on the top and the bottom. beGenius is forced to move Arth back to defend that. They're going to go ahead and start grabbing Knights here. And I was joking about the level 30 power spike, but we might get there if the rotations continue in this fashion.
Yeah, I think you brought up a great point there, though. It's that because, yes, you're killing Leoric, and it's not having that much impact, but the fact that he basically is that moving sentry drone, the fact that you can make those decisions off of that vision is like why beGenius couldn't say just, well, let's throw 3 to the top and defend that, because then you end up in a 4v3 situation. Let's send 2 to the bottom. So they had to play it still very cautiously, even though one member of their opponents was dead.
I wonder if it comes to a point where after you kill the Orc, they've done it twice now.
Yeah.
The next time, do you just go for a core rush? And you don't even go for the full win on the core. You're not putting all your DPS straight into it, but you force playing Dux to pull away and leave one member on the back of the shrine. And then maybe from there you can catch them on a rotation up. That feels like maybe one of the plays that they can try to make here. That's the more aggressive play, though. Right now they're playing safe because they don't want to lose a match here in the HGC. Tank, though, does take some damage here from the Drain Hope. Danatan keeps up with the pressure in the middle. And with these escapes available from both their tanks, unless one of the major assassins die, which is Chris or Kirwa, there doesn't seem like there's any major room for both of our engagements. The Entomb has been used by Nande, and again, another retreat from beGenius.
Yeah, slow, slow, slow. If they tried to collapse on Arakeen, maybe it could work, but again, it's just hoping on
They might get the dragon. They actually might get it. Zul's put off at the top here.
True.
Leoric's already set up in the middle. If he starts scaling right now, he can get the dragon. Ragnaros is too late, and the dragon goes to playing Dux. Nande has it in control for him here at the 35-minute marker.
So he's moving back, and the reason he's doing that is because once that dragon gets captured, then beGenius is like, all right, we might just have to trade. We might just have to try and go for a last-ditch effort and trade. That's why Nande moved back there. He saw Ragnaros' position down to the bottom right, and is like, well, okay, this is how it's going to be. Look, Dragon Knight is going to the other side here. It's going to be a 4v5 defense on this other position. Do beGenius, do they feel comfortable enough doing this?
The Molten Swing, though, is about to come out. Can he hit it? He's going to slam it on ETC.
Oh my
ETC
God.
gets focused down.
Uh-oh.
Vala needs to start her DPS
Core
on
rush.
the core right now. But the big red button here from Tychus will take her out. Unstable and trouble at the same time. Ancestor healing here. Here goes Tank for the win. And Danotan working down the core. But the Dragon on the other side of the map will secure the victory for the playing Ducks. And the Ducks quacking their way to victory.
Very, very well done. Good crisis management overall as well. It's a very tense situation to be there, where you've opened up opportunities to finish the game, but one slight error, one small move will cost you. They made the right decisions there. Send the Dragon Knight, he'll finish the core, just get that defense gone.
A slight mishap hitting there as beGenius will go down 1-0 against the playing Ducks. We'll come back with game number 2 as soon as we can. beGenius taking on the playing Ducks.